Shaker, which I listened to all of it, by the way. Thank you. Thank you for your help in this game. So I'd like to give you guys a little credit for our win tonight. So we got to listen to all your insight during the game.
You're watching Umoja 2 TV.
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 You're watching Umoja TV.
You're watching Umoja 2 TV.
Long three by the JoJo Rollins. Long distance. AT&T goes by. Anything there. Oh, deep three goes by. Oh, baby.
Gotta let that go. He's gotta let that go.
That's a long three. And here goes JoJo. He throws it. Yeah!
Set up. Oh, beautiful play. And he bangs it down.
JoJo out of three. Fire! Josh Hyman, stop. Pull. Fire!
To Reinich. Reinich again pulls up for three. Splash! I got to tell Jordan to penetrate. Pulls up for three. Splash!
Oh, good pass. Latif goes up. Oh, good. Welcome to Umoja 2 TV. I'm Coach Danzy, alongside my partner, Coach Fuller. Coach, another great week of basketball.
Another great week of basketball, Coach.
And
absolutely.
We got a lot of exciting topics to touch on, Coach. A lot of teams moved up in the state rankings. A couple of people fell out. A lot of honorable mentions, and there's some great basketball that we saw over the weekend. We heard about as well.
No question about it.
So let's start right out with it, Coach. And week in review. So the first matchup, Coach, we're gonna talk about, obviously, was Tuesday's game, Bethlehem versus Toga.
Absolutely.
Saratoga Springs Blue Streets against the Bethlehem Eagles, Coach. What do you got to say?
I say it was a very, very fascinating game.
Yeah.
Two teams came in to match wits against one another. It was a well-battled, tested game. They competed very well and hard and strong. I just like what the high schoolers have brought to the table and the way they're out there competing. I mean, you got these young guys on the floor just, in big moments, big decisions, and different things of that nature, and just cashing in. I like it. I like what the coaches are doing one another. It was a fascinating game, Coach.
Yeah, Coach. Yeah, Coach. Was there a turning point for you? I got one, but what was a turning point of that game for you? I mean, we had a lot of guys making some tough plays. You had Bethlehem come out later in that game. They had a huge lead.
Yes.
By 15. And then Toga fought back. So just give me a turning point and stuff like that in the game.
From the start of the game, it was nip and tuck. These guys were going back and forth on it, filling each other out. Obviously they came in and Saratoga came in, getting the ball down to Trudy early on in the game, and then it kind of like Will Fox stepped up. He was one of the main guys. He had 18 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 block shots that game. So he became part of the feature offense. Earlier in the game, Aiden Holmes, he was looking to assert himself as well and do different things. But the X factor of the game on the other side of the hardwood was the big fella, Patrick Ryan. Pat Ryan, the big fella right there. He came out, hit 3 straight three-pointers. And you alluded to earlier in the sportscast that this is not a guy that take a high lot of threes. You know what I mean? So it was like bang, bang, bang. And the coach said that they're aware that he's able to make those type of things. They see it in practice all the time. So sometimes in games like that, you look for Ortelli and all those guys in LeClaire. LeClaire had a really good game too.
Yes, he did.
He hit some timely baskets, attacking the basket, getting inside, hit some jump shots. So it came from all over the place. It came from all over the place. They were getting it from different areas. And even Ortelli, I mean, he served as a catalyst for a guy that, kind of decoyed himself, so to speak. He spoke to him, and I said, well, just something that the coach, said that he wanted you to do. He said, I come in the game and I know that teams are going to scheme on me, going to key on me. So I already look to get my teammates involved. I trust them, and I get them open looks, and they do what they need to do.
Let's hear from his own self, Coach.
It's definitely in our game plan every day, but when I know I go out on that court, I know every defense is going to play their hardest on me because the scouting report knows I can shoot or do whatever. But I have faith in every one of my teammates, and if they want to double me, I know my teammates can score, and it showed tonight, and we got the win.
Okay, now so the turning point for the game though. You didn't get to the turning point of the game.
I didn't get to the turning point to the game. It became. I tell you, one big thing that Coach Iron did, and I didn't get a chance to speak to him during our interview, and I wish I would have asked him, was he put Ryan on Aiden Holmes to start the second half. Aiden Holmes had a really good game starter. He put a big guy on him like Ryan, I don't know, like 6'3", around that size, maybe even taller, big, strong guy. It kind of slowed Aiden Holmes a little bit up because earlier on, Aiden Holmes was turning the corner easy on the guards, and he was getting to the basket. You saw that he had a mindset that he was going to attack from the start.
That's
you know what I mean? So he was getting it done. So that was one turning point in the game. So you saw where, and then Saratoga, you know, Will Fox asserted himself a little bit, but you saw where Trudy kind of in there a little bit. The offense didn't run through him as much, you know what I'm saying? So and at that time, Bethlehem just began to knock down shots. Ryan came out in the second half. He hit bang, bang, bang threes. You know what I mean? And to close the first half, you said something about LeClaire. He hitting that three to take the momentum into the second half. Ryan comes out, hit 3 straight threes. You know what I mean? So again, and the turning point was just that defensive adjustment that they made, and then Bethlehem just started making a little bit more plays than Saratoga in that game.
Yeah, Coach, you pretty much summed it up there. I got one little particular critical portion in that game, which was probably minor at the time, but as you review the tape and you go over it, Coach, I think when after Chudy made a nice post move, a nice little turnaround pivot move, scoring the bat. I thought he had contact and there was no call. He got the bucket, nice strong move. They came back down. They got Saratoga cut it down to 3.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Going under 4 minutes. It was like 3:57 left, right? Bethlehem guard took a shot. Aaron shot off the rim. Eric Signer grabbed the carom, gets it, puts it back up, gets the and one, makes the free throw, put him up by 6. And after that, it seemed like, it was just, like it just changed, you know what I mean? After that, you know what I mean?
And it's big plays like that. Oftentimes, and this is my opportunity to take a little bit of shot at you. All right, so oftentimes
what's new?
Well, you make a cause for it. You know what I mean? I try my hardest, but you make it difficult for me.
Yeah.
But like, for example, that's a big offensive rebound putback. So when we talk about a lot of different dynamics, a lot of times with different things in the game, especially as it pertains to sometimes with the officiating, it's like those are the things that are really going to cost you the game when it comes down to it. It's going to be the offensive rebounds, the steals, the missed free throws. Yeah. Those are the things that rule and reside in the hands of the players, strategizing through the coaches. Yeah. Those are the things you need to key and focus on. That's a very good point that you make.
Yeah.
You're making a run, and you're getting back into the game.
Right.
And then a guy goes and gets an and one situation, and then goes to the line, complete the three-point play. Something about momentum and your energy, it changes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's a valid point.
Yeah, because I do get the referee's love. So I call it what I see. I can't help myself. But it just tells you, Coach, that it's like a 50-50 ball because it ricocheted off the rim. Not crazy, not just carry them off, and you got to have those. You know what I mean? Saratoga's a bigger team. You know what I mean? You got to have those. You know what I mean? After Chudy just came through and made a tough basket down there, everything was going your way at that moment, and then that one little simple thing didn't box out, and you had an unknown like Signer. Not unknown to the Eagles now.
No.
Unknown to most of the people who watch high school sports, Coach. Signer grabs that, the 6'2" forward, grabs it, and puts it back up strong, goes to the basket, and one completes it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So,
yeah, again, so it was nothing that really, like, what I take from this game was that, two teams battled, tested with each other. They're going to be nip and tuck. They're going to be there. It's just one of those things where they made more plays. And the fact that Bethlehem's a senior-laden team.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's another attribute that you have. This only can bode well for Saratoga to understand that being in a game like this, learning from a game like this, and see what they can get out of a game like this and start to be able to move on.
Right.
Bethlehem just continue to grow and do the things they do. They know they got the big target on their back. They're expected. They're a senior-laden team. They got, arguably the best player in the Suburban Council right now. I mean, and I'll end on that, like with Ortelli. I mean, you can't say enough about the the mental state, the IQ, you know what I mean, to understand that it doesn't have to be me.
The selflessness.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? The selfless play of him, you know what I mean? To understand that
it's we, not me. Attitude. That
Absolutely,
court,
absolutely,
you know what I mean?
no question about it. And so when you see that, I mean, that bodes well for their opportunities and success, knowing that moving forward, this is not going to be one of our Achilles' heel. We're going to have to worry about this guy, you know, getting rolled and doing that. You know, he welcomes the idea of the double teams. I mean, during that game, it was almost like I'm using myself as the decoy. I know it's coming. I'm going to find my boy Davis or Ryan, and they're stroking. And you can get it from, like we talked about. So it might be Will Davis one day, you know, unlikely hero and Ryan knocking down.
Yeah, you were key with that, 'cause you said they that's not the way they do it over there. You know what I mean? As you said last time. But you know, I mean, you got Ortelli, coach. He's a guy that is a fascinating player, fascinating player as you mentioned, coach. Because there was times in that game where, you know, he started the offense out. He started the first 2 points from me. Okay, I'm here.
Right.
You know what I mean? Bang, knock it down. All right. Then he's, you know, he knows they're keen on him. He draws double team, like you said, kicks it.
Right.
Kicks it again. You know what I mean? He makes a pass so the other guy can make another pass to another shot. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, and then he rebounds the ball. You know, he's in there standing there tough. Then he comes out and he hits 3-point shots as well. I mean, when that barrage of 3 points was going down in the second half, he knocked down one of them during that time. You know what I mean? So I just like his selfishness, coach. A proven winner.
Absolutely. One thing I will say about Saratoga on the other side of it is that, and it's kind of hard sometimes to predict, but when you talk about Marcel Davis, you know what I mean, and what in that critical point in the game, in that run, Marcel Davis started to turn it up, you know what I mean, and score. So I know moving forward, you know, Coach Usher might want to look at in terms of using him as a spark plug to get them going even more earlier, you know what I'm saying? Or for him, and see, this is the thing, sometimes it's the other part around. A player can also turn it on when he sees his team is down.
Right, that's
you know
true.
what I'm saying? Turn the Jets on. So for him, in his perspective, now maybe you want to, you know, look to assert yourself even more. But I like what they're doing, what Will Fox is doing. He needs to definitely continue to assert himself as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In that offense. So it could be another weapon. I mean, that high-low thing that they can have going on, because, you know, Foxy can hit the shot as well. Trudy showed you some nice pull-ups that he had and stuff. So that little high-low game that they can develop there as they go along, and with Marcel slashing and other guys coming in. Yeah, so it was.
I mean, you had D'Agostino too hit a couple threes in that game. You know what I mean? So if he starts to come on and run the show, the offense the way it should be ran, coach, you might see some. I think Usher might see some good light on the other end of the tunnel.
He's not taking it back by losing to Bethlehem. He's not taking it back by that at all.
I mean, he'd rather lose now than losing the Final Four or, you know, or the championship.
And like I said, they can learn a lot from this game. Their team starting new 5 starters as opposed to Bethlehem, who has a senior-laden team.
Okay. Now, what do you think about the strategy that both coaches used in that game, Coach? What do you think about that? I mean, Bethlehem put up a little bit of pressure at portions of that game, you know what I mean? I didn't see Saratoga do it too often. Mostly, they played man-to-man. They switched to the zone a little bit. Bethlehem seemed to be in man most of the time. They switched up a few occasionally as well. So, as far as the X and O standpoint,
I didn't see much. I thought that two teams, just two coaches that were just pushing buttons to see what would work, changing up here and there, kind of filling each other out. I thought that it was overall a well-played game. I think that you can't take nothing away from a team that, you know, theoretically, from my perspective and a lot of others, was expected to win that game. You know what I mean? So I think that it was a, you know, pretty much well-strategized game. I didn't have anything to take exception with.
Well, the reason why the verdict went the way it did, because if you watched the replay of the last broadcast, Coach Fuller grazed my crystal ball a little bit. He kind of touched it, and that sucked a little bit of the power out of my crystal ball. So I can't have mere mortals touching my crystal ball. So this week, we will make sure that he is nowhere near it. Okay? Okay. So we see the blue streak definitely continue to push, Coach, as the season goes on. They're still one of the top teams in the area. Bethlehem showed they are one of the best teams in the area. It's not D1, you know what I mean? So it's gonna be fascinating to see how this thing comes down the stretch. So let's move on to the next game here, Coach. Unless you got something else you want to add to finish up that particular fantastic game where state-ranked 12 team in Bethlehem Eagles versus the number 18 team team and the Saratoga Blue Streaks go head to head. I don't think we've seen anything like that in a long time in this area. But go ahead.
No, I'm good.
You're good. Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. So on Tuesday as well, Coach, another game that we said would be the featured matchup was Averill Park versus Troy. What you got to say
you
now?
got your pen.
I mean, I'm just saying. You going ham with AP last week, talking all this, all grandiose and stuff about AP. You know what I mean? So it was a great game, Coach. From what we hear, we didn't cover it. You know what I mean? AP Warriors suffered a 10-point loss. I think that's the biggest deficit they've been in all year. Usually when they lose in overtime, or they lose 1 or 2 or something like that. So what Coach talked about when we interviewed them when we covered their game the week prior. So
you know what? I wish I would have never grazed that crystal ball. I think I helped you when I grazed it. I wish I would have never grazed it.
You grazed it when I was talking about the Saratoga.
No, that's not what I grazed it at all. I wish I would have never grazed it because I think that's what helped you. Like I said, we didn't cover that game, and probably because we weren't in attendance, didn't go the way that I usually would predict. The game we were in attendance it went the way that I predicted it. So I wasn't in attendance in that game. So I think it had a little bit of something to do with
the story you're sticking to.
That's the story I'm sticking with right now. Okay. But according to everything, but the ironic thing about it was when we look back at it, Will Flute, Pascucci, and Price said
AP by 10.
AP by 10.
And the prediction went a total different way. And we spoke to the boys last night after the Troy game. They was like, yeah, we watched that. They said that they win by 10. Ironically enough, Troy was the team that came out and won by 10.
Right.
So,
Right.
So
I mean, as I definitely alluded to, that would definitely happen. The victory for the Flying Horses. I mean, you got Latisse Faison, Coach, who I just laminated about prior to that game, Coach, and he came out to play that game. I think he dropped well over 20 points in that game, and he had Nasir Merritt just go do his thing as well. You know what I mean? And Johnson in there chipping in, doing it what he do. So, and I mean, when I talk this stuff, when we talk every week, in the studio, I'm pretty much accurate in what I say. You know what I mean?
I'm just gonna say it was a well-fought game on Averill Park's part. You know what I mean? It went up into Troy's territory where they said too it's a tough place to go to play with.
That's why it's one of the reasons why I said
and they've been defending their home court, but nothing to take away from Averill Park. It was a game that they fought in. It was a game that we're going against a tough matchup. I mean, even the coach said himself that Troy is a team that everybody has, their eyes on. But we know that this whole thing is nip and tuck, and at any given night, it could be somebody else's night.
Yeah. And Price came to play, Coach. He dropped 23, I believe, in that game. You know what I mean? Like, he got it in.
That's what I'm saying. And what I'm saying is that it was just a nice fill-out game for Averill Park.
Right,
you know what I mean? It's a nice fill-out game because this is a team that you can probably look forward to down the line, seeing down in the sectionals. So you know what it is now or whatever. It's all right. It's all right. You know what I mean?
I just pick them how I do. So right now, the featured matchups, Coach, that we have in our program, I'm 2, and you have, I believe, 1.
Oh, you know what? I ain't gonna even get into that right now. You just blindsided me with that. Like, really? You mad blindsided me with that.
All right. Now, Coach, any last parting words in that game? I mean, Troy, it looks fascinating. Averill Park, we saw they look to be very good. I mean, the A's is gonna be just bananas.
Bananas, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm not. I mean, don't get it twisted. I'm not surprised that I'm not like flabbergasted or bugging out at Troy,
Right.
But I haven't covered it. The analysis that I would like to get more about the game, I can't provide at this juncture. But looking at both programs and seeing them play, I can see why I'm saying these teams would be like this, and I'm not like out of my mind for even taking Averill Park just for the record.
Yeah. No question
for the
about
record.
It. All right, we're gonna scroll the rest of the scores. Here they are. Okay, Coach. Now we're gonna go on to Friday's games.
Yep.
Okay. So we'll talk about the game that we covered on Friday first, Coach. All right. So we covered the Troy versus Niskayuna game, Coach. Nip and tuck game, very sparse crowd. There was not many people there. I had a lot of other games that were just fabulous yesterday night. So so you can expect why that would be. But you got the number 20th ranked team and Troy Fine Horses at home against Niskayuna. Now both teams going different directions at the time. You know, we got a 4-game winning streak for the Fine Horses, or 5-game winning streak for the Fine Horses, and you had the Civil Warriors of Niskayuna, Coach, trying to find their way after taking like 4 defeats or 5 defeats and losses in a row. So
yeah, I think it might be 4 or less.
4 or less, yeah.
4, 3,
definitely 4.
Yeah, okay, definitely 4 then. Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we covered that game last night, and it was a fabulous game. And from the point of, like the coaches have been saying, you know, I mean, we find a lot of coaches are saying, this is going to be nip and tuck. You can lose at any given, you know what I'm saying, night. You know what I'm saying? So we knew that going in that Niskayuna would be come to play, and they did. You know what I mean? But for me, we knew, like, you had covered Troy already, so you were familiar with Troy.
Right.
I hadn't really seen Troy yet, you know what I mean? And so this is my opportunity, and I'm glad I was able to get a chance to see him with Fajon, you know what I mean, a part of that mix, you know what I mean? And so Troy has the kind of team that their best player, arguably, definitely one of the top best players on the team, and Merritt, last year's Umoja 2 TV Top 10 All-Star, cannot have one of his best nights, and they still get it done. You know what I mean? And Fajon, his ability to stroke the outside shot. So even if you want to go zone against these guys, Merritt can stroke it, Fajon can stroke it, Latif Johnson can step out and stroke it. They got these other guys like Crew, you know what I'm saying, Moore, guys that can stroke it, Wolf. They got guys that also can, you know what I'm saying, make you be accountable when you want to go zone against them, you know what I'm saying? So, and then you want to go man, they got fabulous one-on-one players. I mean, you got Fajon, he's a nice one-on-one player. Merritt as well, Johnson feeding him down the post. I mean, he was having his way as well too. He was hard to stop down there as well. So Troy, having a chance to see them, just have some nice components as part of the game that they gel and play together, they continue to play together. The other hand, Niskayuna too, I like what they have. They got some nice shooters. Sean St. Lucia plays that point guard well. He runs that team really well.
Yes, he does.
You know what I mean? Come down with the Wonder Twin power, sometimes activating with one of them hitting the assist, one of them hitting the 3. You know what I mean? You got the big fella there, you know what I mean? He does a solid job. So Benton, he does a solid job. Benton, and also Quinn.
Richie.
Cox. I mean, they got some nice pieces. The only thing with Niskayuna is Niskayuna got to start to find who's going to emerge in those tough situations when you need a bucket. That's what they have to look at, because they do it so much by committee, and those guys get, you know, give it here and there. But it's times in the game where you just got to have some guys who, you know, this is the guys that we can depend on is going to get it done.
I really think that they got some guys, Coach. They got Richie Quinn, I think, can fill that bill. They got KG Cox. Once he finds it, he's a senior now. He got the ability to do it. But really, I think it really is Benton. I think Benton is that guy. I just think that remember the Army High game, Coach. They just didn't go to him for that lob pass. They should have threw to him, you know, underneath that one time late in that game. You know what I mean? Like, I just think that they got some guys there that can fit that bill. Just that they gotta just believe in. And like you said, they got to believe in that one person. You know what I mean? But again, Troy, Coach, is fabulous to watch. They're exciting to watch. When you got Faison clicking, you got Merritt clicking, Coach. It's just fun to watch.
Yeah, you know, man. I mean? And Isaiah Smith.
Yes.
That's another player, man.
Right. And you know, and then you got Latif Johnson, Coach, who, like you mentioned as well, who's just. He does it in so many variety ways. He's a guy that can D up. He blocked Benton's 3-point shot, Coach.
Yeah, man.
In the critical point in that game. You know what I mean? He didn't get it off. Taking charges.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Knocking down the 3. Just doing what he wants to do in the post area, Coach.
Yeah, man.
It's just fascinating to watch his development, and he's a fascinating interviewer, as well as Faison.
Yes.
Love both of those guys, how they just communicate their messages they want to communicate. But like you said, though, Coach, Isaiah Smith can be one of, he's a junior. You know what I mean? He can be an X factor for them, Coach. Come off the bench, providing that toughness, that rebound ability he has. He can score around the bucket pretty well. So that team could be tough because they don't got much height.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? So
well, I mean, now I'm questioning that though. We said that, but when I saw Isaiah Smith, man, I mean, for the section minimally, that's enough with him and Johnson. Cause I like what I would do for Coach Davis. Man, sometimes I would have to say, yo, you know what? Smith, just go over there to the side and just shoot some free throws.
right.
He was at the line a lot last night. He was in the line like 7-8 times.
Yes, he was.
You know what I'm saying? And I like with him and Johnson being at the court at the same time because it's like whatever one doesn't get, the other one is cleaning it up.
Right.
And Johnson's more of a skilled player, of course, but you like the bruiser mentality in Smith. He's going to bang, he's going to rebound, crash the boards, he's going to be the garbage guy, be around the basket, helping you, giving you second, third opportunities and all those things. You know what I'm saying? So, please.
Yo, Coach.
Yeah.
They could be what? Now, you wonder why they're undefeated in the Suburban?
I mean, come on. I wasn't wondering why. Don't go nuts.
Not you. I'm saying. I'm saying in general. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Man, listen. After seeing them, I don't have to wonder why at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
hey, Coach, you got Makai Crew, the guard. He's just like Isaiah Smith, but from the guard perspective, Coach.
Yeah, man. I mean, and then what you saw is that everybody seems to understand their role.
Yeah, that's key.
They understand their role. I didn't see a lot of like, nah, it's okay. Like Crew, Moore, coming, all those guys. Like I understand my role when I come in. You know what I'm saying? I know what my job is to come in and run the offense, play pressure defense. They were pressuring up on the guards. That's why I gave St. Lucie a lot of credit. He was under a lot of pressure.
And
those guards was pressuring him up the court. So those guys know I'm coming in, gave a tough defense, find a merit, get him in his spots. Faison always knocked down until he stretches the D. Then you could dump it down in Chancha inside. Yeah, man, Troy.
Yeah, Coach. Troy won that, Coach, 55-48. But I know stretch of the imagination, because you think Niski didn't come to play.
No, I mean, Niski had an opportunity to get like right back within one with that nice play out of a timeout.
Yes.
Then Smith called a timeout.
The baseline side pocket jumper. Ethan, the twin brother, just came up a little short on that one.
Yeah, that would have been like a one possession game or something of that sort. So they were right there. So I mean, I think Niski can learn more about keep finding that identity. I mean, it was a team that didn't do very well last year, so they're right in the mix this year. So there's nothing to hang their hat. Just keep finding their identity. Don't let these losses be demoralizing to you.
If those guys continue to improve the rest of the season. And then going to the offseason, Coach, they're young.
Right.
You know what I mean? They got a lot of juniors on that team. You know, they got 1 or 2 sophomores, Coach. This team could be, I don't want to look too far ahead, but this team could come in the next season, Coach, looking to tear up some stuff.
Yeah, that's a fact.
All right, Coach. The next game was AP versus CBA. Now, we didn't cover that one.
Right.
Averill Park versus CBA. From what we gathered, Coach, Overtime game. You know what I mean? And CBA walked away out of there at the Averill Park's home gym. I know that gym had to be rocking. Coach. You know what I mean? CBA walked out of there, overtime win, 65-57 on Averill Park.
Good win for CBA. I mean, they had some little stumbles along the way here a little bit. They had lost to Saratoga, and so Boston Spa. They had lost. So come off of beating Niski, and then they come out and get a nice win against a Boston Spa team who's formidable for anybody at any given night.
Right.
So at CBA, similar to Niski Union to a degree of still finding themselves, and we know Jordan King, they don't have that issue as far as finding a guy who will take over the game or insert himself where you need some buckets. They have that guy, Jordan King. I think the other pieces around him.
O2 was starting to step up, Coach. O2 they had 18 that game.
And that's what you want to see. That's what you want to see. Somebody else has to emerge. That's just simple. Somebody else, as Niski Union got to find a consistent scorer to emerge, CBA has to find another scorer aside Jordan King to start to emerge.
Right, and maybe you won't chuck so many of those unnecessary shots if somebody else is
to emerge. So that's a good victory for CBA.
Okay, Coach. So the next one was we could talk briefly about was Shin versus Albany. There was at Albany High, and Shin took a 14-point victory there in the Falcons' Nest, Coach. They won that one 69-55 in that game. Yeah.
So basically, I mean, it was a good test game for Albany. You know what I mean? They had come off of beating two game winning skis. Was with Niski Unit and Boston Spa?
No, it was Burnt Hills and Boston.
So they came on. Then they beat. Wasn't 3? Because they beat Niski Unit 2.
That wasn't during that time.
Okay, all right. So they come off a nice little 2-game winning streak. Also off of a victory of beating Niski Unit. I'll just throw that in there. So this was a good opportunity after battling like a good Saratoga we talked about them beating. It was a good opportunity to kind of oh yeah, that's right, they lost the Academy, but this is a good opportunity for them to kind of have a good sense of where they stack up again with some of the upper echelon teams in the division. So you got to start to get a feel for where you're at, you know what I'm saying, as you move forward. So for them to suffer such a loss like this, it kind of puts them back into the question mark of themselves. You know what I mean? Of, okay, what's our identity, where we're at, where do we stack at, how do we, you know, fare against some of the competition or whatever. We play Saratoga tough, Niska Union is a tough, affordable team. Then we go up against a Shin team that, okay. So for Albany, it was a feel for game, and for Shin, it was this game to keep showing that we still here. You know what I mean? Don't forget about us. We still here. We're still formidable.
No question
you know
about
what I'm
it.
saying? We still on the radar, and we're gonna make some noise.
We're the reigning state Section 2 title holders.
Right, exactly.
Okay, Coach, we'll show the rest of the scores right here for you.